What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Um, let's get back on this incubus. Okay, we are having to get back on this incubus because I am picking up on a lot right now. We are getting the fragments. We are getting the pieces from Mother at the solar plexus level, but I'm going to leave that for a separate video. We are going to be talking about Mother while she was in the solar plexus, which for the most part has sort of been, it's been a lot of confusion surrounding that lifetime. But we have the core. We have Mother's core from that lifetime, and we're going to be getting into it. But I want to talk about this incubus for just a moment, and the way that he really looks before he stole the vitality, before he stole the quote beauty. You couldn't say that he stole the beauty, but he did not steal the beauty because the Mother maintained her beauty throughout her lifetimes. Even now, as a male, her beauty is a staple. And and everyone's still inspired, regardless. Okay, but this incubus, the first time I encountered this incubus was when I was the sea creature, when I was the mermaid, when I was stunning, I was absolutely beautiful. Okay, and I used to come up out of the water and sit on this rock, right underneath the moon. And I gotta tell you about how beautiful the moon was at that time. It was huge. The moon was huge. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight to behold. But I would always be hassled by this creature, this ugly creature, might I add, that kept coming up to me after I kept telling this creature no. Hell to the fuck no. No. But it's like every day. But we didn't have days then. It was different then. It's hard to explain, but he kept coming up to me all the time, hassling me about ending that lifetime or moving down the he wanted me to move down the chakra. Okay, this whole thing has been about me moving down the chakras so that I could eventually move down here into the root, and where they thought that I was going to be stuck. Okay. But I eventually did end that with the mermaid, whereas the next lifetime, I became, I don't know how to describe, I'm hearing the Gale though, to describe the name, my name or some way, in some shape was the Gale. And what I did in this lifetime was I looked into the eyes, and this individual worked closely with me. This incubus, okay, who at that time I did not know he was the incubus. I thought that this was my counterpart. This was my false counterpart. Okay. But I worked very closely with the collective, and he worked with me in this whole thing. And this is where you have that brotherhood as well in the background, where that he followed around religiously, like the follower that he is, just like he followed me around, because he didn't have no real power. Okay, and he had been sucking and stealing my power since the ship and them black orbs. Even when I was in the celestial body, there those black orbs were bothering me and making like, girl, get away from me. It gave girl, get away from me. Okay, but those black, little did I know at the time of being that celestial body that those black orbs were accumulating and entering my body and entering into my energy and auric fields and things of this nature. Okay. And the incubus though, let's get back to the incubus, because he did not look like that at first. The individual that I saw in that lifetime following the mermaid, where we did work together, me and this incubus worked together, he did not look like his original look. And that's because he had already stuck his tentacles into me and began to suck that out. He was already sucking it out, but it was because I'm mother and I'll regrow and I'll regenerate and I know how to do all that. He could it was very slow and little and minute at first. Okay, and then he popped up as this individual, the helper, the help, because that's what he is, the help. Not only but the archons too, and fuck them. Look, fuck the archons too. Okay, he's the help. So, the black orbs, or this dark matter that he is the carrier of, this spiritual disease and this virus that he carries, okay, were accumulating slowly. So he was able to get a different form. He was able to acquire a better form following that lifetime where I was that mermaid and sea creature, and then he came in as my husband, whom I thought was my counterpart because of the spells and the witchcraft and the mind control, even though I really, in the back, I knew that this wasn't, because this was a setup, period. Okay? So he was able to acquire a better form, even though this form right here was like, it's like he looked like one of those wax figures in Madame Tussauds. Looking back at this individual, his skin looked like plastic or something like that. Or it wasn't it glisten, like I'm hearing glisten, but it wasn't a cute glisten. He looked like a wax figure that you would see at Madame Tussauds. But nonetheless, he had a better form. Let's get into the way he looked. His original look. Baby, this was the ugliest creature that you could ever behold. You ain't never seen a creature this ugly, and that's why I always just was like, get away from me. I didn't want him near me. I did not want him hassling me, and he kept on doing it. This is the ugliest creature that you could ever behold. Black, and I'm not talking about the race of black people, because I am black at this point. Okay, but he was black. Okay, this individual had hair that was made of cotton. This hair was like cotton. I keep hearing cotton. It was fully gray. This was an old man, and he was as old as you could say. He looked as old as Methuselah that you would imagine that Methuselah looked. If you want to say things in Bible terms, which I don't, baby, let's not get into that Bible right now. But this individual looked as old as you would think that Methuselah would look at 1,000 or so years old, with a patch of hair. Not even a patch, with patches of hair. This creature had patches of hair wrapped around his head that looked like cotton. Okay. He was skinny and scrawny. And just very ugly. And I'm talking about physically, spiritually, mentally, etherically. What else, honey? What else? I just wanted to get into this. I also have one more thing to say about when I encountered this individual for the first time and we were at this hostel. First, before I say this though, there's something about that nose. There is absolutely something about that nose that is the same as it was then. Whereas he could not get rid of that nose, which is why I say something about that flat wide nose, because I wouldn't say nothing like that. Generally, like I wouldn't just say that, because I got a wide nose. So there's something about his nose that I'm picking up on that at that time it was the same, Very much the same. He could not do anything with that nose. He couldn't change that nose. Okay? But when I was staying with this individual, when we were both at this hostel together, I did happen to overhear a conversation that he was having with one of the males in that house, because he likes to be the center of attention. He in everybody's face, like I said before. He care about the thoughts of others. So I overheard this individual in a conversation that he was having with one of the males in that house, where he said, and this is in quotations, ooh, and he said, ooh, it was the ooh for me. He said, ooh, and her skin was glowing. He said, and her skin was glowing. Her skin was, so, how do I say, then, because I got to tell the truth. I got to admit, then I didn't know as much, and I was not as healed. So I was a little jelly. I'm going to admit to being a little jealous of what I heard him say. But that was only because of this past life remembrance, me remembering what this was for this past, the feelings that I had for this individual coming to the surface. So I was a little jelly, I'm gonna have to admit. But thinking back in hindsight, after all that cleared, after all that jealousy cleared about him, I'm thinking, so what you was trying to do? Steal the glow? What you want to do? Steal the glow out of her skin? Because he was excited that her skin was glowing. So what was you trying to do to her skin? What was you gonna do? He was gonna, like I said, them black orbs and that dark matter and them particles, them dark, whatever that is that he is a carrier of, that he is transmitting and he's transferring these energies to the girls to steal their vitality. Because mothers is in him, it's depleting in him because it left him, it's leaving him. So now what he gonna do? Anyway, I had to get this out. Thank you. Bye-bye.